Hello, and welcome to Talk Fulton. I'm Tania Boyes, and today we're up close and personal with Chaplain Dawkins. Chaplain Dawkins, thank you for being here.
Nice to be here.
So, you've been a chaplain for over 20 years, I understand.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me how that journey started out. How did you get here?
I took religion and psychology in undergrad, came here to Atlanta, to the ITC seminary, and been ministering about 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And applied and about 24 years ago, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, I know you've taken on a lot of duties aside from being chaplain. What are some of the things that you do on a day-to-day? What are some of your roles? I know you do a lot of work with the county, but just tell us a little bit about what you do specifically.
Well, Fulton County government buries the homeless and indigent, and we do about 300 funerals a year.
Wow.
Each Tuesday and Thursday, and that takes a lot. Also working with different departments when they need help or need counseling for anything that may arise in their department. I'm on call 24/7.
Oh, wow. That's a big responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
So what does that process look like? What impact do you think that service specifically provides for the community?
I think that for those, the least of these among us, it's a great resource because everyone has parents, brothers, sisters, cousins, and it provides a dedicated and a respectful burial for the dead, no matter what money they had or did not have.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Outside of your work with the county, you're involved in community service through your church. Can you tell me a little bit about Angie's Kitchen and True Worship Fellowship Center?
Yes, ma'am. Angie's Kitchen and our ministry work hand in hand. We feed on a daily basis. We give clothes, personal hygiene items, care packages for those who are unhoused, and so we do this every day. So we feed hundreds of people each week.
That's amazing. What inspired you to start those initiatives?
I grew up in poverty, sometimes eating out of trash cans, and so God put it on my heart that that's the type of ministry that I wanted to do and be dedicated to it. And so that's what we've been doing for a long time.
That's amazing. So it's part of your mission as a chaplain, you would say?
Correct.
Amazing. And feeding the homeless is such an essential act of service. What are some of the stories or most impactful moments that you think about your time providing this service that you can share with us?
That for me, God always makes a way. I was feeding downtown before we started feeding at the church, and I used to make beans and cornbread, and and so I'm looking at 300 or 400 people standing in line, and so I prayed over the pot, and God just stretched it.
Wow.
So everyone was able to eat, and I was like, okay, God, if I do my part, you're gonna do your part, and that just gave me confidence to just keep on doing it.
Wow, that's a good meal too. Beans
Yes,
and
ma'am.
beans
Yes,
and cornbread. My family's from New Orleans, so
Okay.
that's a staple. Okay, so I was talking to Daryl, big fan of yours. Everybody knows Daryl, and Daryl spoke so highly of you. He said that you would give the shirt off your back, and you really care about the community. What does that? Hearing that, what does that feel like?
It feels good because when people know that you have the heart to serve and you do it unconditionally, that just means a lot, because sometimes it goes unnoticed because we don't publicize. Whatever you're gonna do it, without accolades or anything like that, and that's how I move.
Yeah, that's a big reason or a motivational factor for the idea that I have for this show. I wanted people to know who we are beyond the titles, what the titles mean for Fulton County, but also the people behind the titles, and kind of speak to the character and the people that are here. So I've met some wonderful people in Fulton County, and so I feel like this platform is really necessary for us to get to know each other so that we see we're more alike than different.
Yes, right.
And you're working alongside these people, so it gives you a chance to get to know them a little bit better.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you stay, what motivates you to stay involved and committed to your community? I know it's got to be challenging sometimes.
It is challenging, but it's always rewarding when we can help someone, you know. And sometimes the people, they appreciate it so much because sometimes they're invisible to people. And I think sometimes we see some people and we turn our heads and they are real people. They had a real mama and a real daddy, came from a real family. But sometimes things just happen to people and they can never get up. And so when you show love to them, a lot of times they show love because, hey, you see me, you know, and it means something to them.
I think we all want to be seen, right?
Right.
Even if we aren't the people that are the extroverts out on the front lines and wanting to be seen, I think we all want to be seen for who we really are. So I can definitely appreciate that. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about you leading the invocation for the BOC, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners meetings. Think back to when you first started that. What was that experience like? Were you nervous at all? Did you just want to go in and get it done? What was going through your mind?
Leading the invocation for the BOC and other things, it's a great honor. I'm honored because, you know, I'm a small town boy and to be down here in the big city. But yes, I'm nervous every time. I'm nervous every time I preach.
Still?
I'm nervous every time I pray. A minister told me one time, if you ain't nervous, something wrong with you. So I'm nervous every time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would have thought by now you'd be like, I'm about to go do it. But that I can appreciate that. That means it's still a passion and it's real. It's coming from a real place. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
can appreciate that. So in your 20 plus years as a chaplain, am I right in that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And your continued service to the community, what are some of the most important lessons you've learned along the way?
Always be ready to help and always be ready to listen. Sometimes people just want for them to be heard from a sincere place, you know. They want, does somebody care, you know? And so I think my best attribute is I'm a good listener.
I think that's so important because I think we all have our many type of relationships we're involved in, right? And we want to be good listeners, but I don't think that we are experts in it the way we think we are. You know, we are. Right. I think that we think we're good at it, but when it comes to listening, sometimes there's that added pressure of feeling like you have to solve the problem, and so you're not even really actively listening. You're thinking, okay, what am I going to say in response? When sometimes people don't need you to solve it; they just need you to hear them.
That's
so
right.
I love that. So some people might be listening to all the services that you contribute to and might want to get involved. What would be your advice for them? And then just to get involved in community service in general. And then what would be your advice to connect with some of the services that you provide?
Well, I think everyone can contribute to the less fortunate. And we have to be committed to that. I mean, sometimes people do stuff on holidays and, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, but people are hurting daily. And I just think, you know, even when we feed daily, there is something that everyone can do, whether you do it through our ministry or another ministry. It's getting cold. You have gently used coats or socks. Take them to a ministry. Take them to an outreach that you know is going to distribute it. And that way, just do something. You know, we always say, well, God will fix it. Well, He made us that we'll be able to fix it.
Right. You might
God
be the
ain't going to come down Peachtree and hand out socks. Okay.
I like that. That's really practical advice. And then for your specific services that you offer, how can people get involved with what you do?
People can get involved with me through trueworshipchurch.org or Angie's Kitchen. We're online, and if they want to do something, feel free.
Awesome.
We would appreciate it.
Awesome. I hope that encourages people, especially what you just mentioned about it getting cold, the holidays approaching and all that. It's good to keep that in mind as we can get so focused on the most wonderful time of the year and forget that it's not so wonderful for other people.
That's
so
right.
Thank you for bringing that up. So this conversation has really been inspiring, and it touches on my heartstrings. I'm one of those people that just like to hear the stories of other people and connect with them. So I appreciate you being here. Before we wrap up, do you have any other closing thoughts or words of wisdom you want to leave with the audience?
Well, I would say everyone can be a servant.
I love that. I love that. Short, sweet, and to the point. Chaplain Dawkins, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for what you do for the county. I know you said it doesn't always get seen, but I want you to know that we do see you. We appreciate all that you do. We want to thank our listeners for tuning in to this conversation and hope that it goes beyond just tuning in and that it inspires them to do something. Like you said, anyone can be a servant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in to Talk Fulton. Stay tuned and stay connected with us on social as we get up close and personal with the people who make a difference in Fulton County.